He loves you every moment, he cares for you each day. And if you'll stop to think a while, he's blessed you in each way. Yes, that's his love. Yes, that's his love. Yes, that is our Father's love. It's dwelling.
Mama Luca again. We're going to finish reading the book of love, The Value of Love by Anne Donegan Johnson. Would like to take us back to the page before where I left off, where Johnny says, "Someday I'll do something about that," declared Johnny. "I'll see that no one has to give up apples." In the years that followed, Johnny often went with his father and helped sell the wooden wares, and Randy went along and watched Johnny grow, the raccoon. And when he was a strapping lad in his teens, Johnny set out to work on his own. Can you guess what he did? He hired himself out to a man who knew everything there was to know about orchards. And when Johnny worked for that man, he didn't do any daydreaming. He paid attention. Soon he knew how deep to plant apple seeds. He knew how much to water the warm earth so that the seeds would sprout. He learned how to tend the orchards once they started, and to set the young trees far enough apart from one another. He learned to prune the trees, and he learned that if he wanted to move a tree, he would have to wrap the roots well in wet moss so that they wouldn't dry out. When he was 18, Johnny felt that he was ready. "Nathaniel," he said to his youngest brother, "come springtime, I'm setting out for Olean. That's way off in the western part of New York State. Pa's brother Ben lives there. Want to come along?" Now there was no good reason for Johnny to take Nathaniel along. The boy was only 11. "Can't think why I'm doing it," said Johnny to Randy. "Because the boy's fond of you and he wants to go," said Randy. "You love him too. Or I'm much mistaken." Johnny did love his brother, so when April came, he and Nathaniel said goodbye to their folks. Mr. Chapman read a special verse out of the Bible, and he asked the Lord to look after his two boys. Johnny felt a twinge of loneliness, for it was no small thing to leave the people he held dear. "You'll be fine," said his father. "You're a good lad, and you're bound to do well. Now if the farmland in the west is as rich as people say, send word and we will come." Johnny promised that he would, and he and Nathaniel set out with Randy scampering along behind. The boys went on foot, and everywhere he looked, Johnny saw the forest, trees growing tall, shutting out the sky. It would be welcome to see an apple tree instead, he said. There should be clearings and orchards in them. "I have a feeling that there will be clearings," said Randy. He didn't particularly object to forest trees, although he liked orchards as well as anyone. After a long, long journey, Johnny and Nathaniel and Randy reached Olean, and they had a surprise. What do you think it was? The cabin where Ben Chapman had settled years before was empty. "What a disappointment," said Randy. "I'll bet your uncle's gone to the new land around the Ohio River. Why don't you rest for a bit and then go after him?" What Randy said made good sense to Johnny. Perhaps because when he listened to Randy, he was really listening to his own good sense. "We'll need supplies," he said, "so we'll have to get work, but we can do it." Johnny surely could do it. He knew so much about planting and pruning that a former farmer in Olean was glad to hire him. That fall, when the apple crop was harvested, Johnny drove a wagon loaded with apples to the cider mill. When the apples were ground to a pulp and the cider was pressed out, Johnny saw that there were apple seeds everywhere around the mill. Each one is really an apple tree, just waiting to find its place in the earth so it can grow. He told Randy, "It's a shame to let seeds go to waste." Johnny gathered up every seed that he could. He washed the seeds and dried them and put them in a sack, and from that day on, Johnny never threw away an apple seed. Until next time, we'll read some more. Take care. I'll see you soon.
He loves you every moment. He cares for you each day. And if you'll stop to think a while, He's blessed you in each way. Yes, that's His love. Yes, that's His love. Yes, that is our Father's love that's dwelling